What would television be without cartoons? For close to a century, animated characters have spoken on screen, starting with Max Fleischer's short "Come Take a Trip in My Airship" in 1924. Cartoon characters seem to live on. However, there's a funny thing about cartoons. You may have been watching a cartoon for years, and sometimes you're so addicted that you remember the episodes too. But even with all of that, you still may have no idea who the voice actor behind the character you know and love even is. If that person comes on television and starts speaking, you still won't have any idea who that is. And even if you find some similarity, you still get confused. Today, we're going to show you a list of the top 10 hilarious voices behind popular cartoons. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Number 10. Jake from Adventure Time.
I'm so tired, but also hungry.
Adventure Time follows the adventures of a boy named Finn the Human and his best friend and adopted brother, Jake the Dog, who has magical powers to change shape and size at will. You might relate to Finn, but Jake is without a doubt the most entertaining character on Adventure Time. Aside from being a great friend to Finn and a genius in the kitchen, he's basically a dog that can change his shape to just about anything. How do you top that? Prolific voice actor John DiMaggio gives Jake his iconic sound. He's had decades of voice acting roles, with over 300 credits to his name, including Samurai Jack, Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness, and Gravity Falls. Number 9. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo may be the star of the show in the many TV series and movies which have his name, but it's the voice of his human sidekick Shaggy that stands out from the rest. He and his dog have two settings: scared and excited about food. The late renowned radio DJ Casey Kasem gets credit for perfectly playing those two emotions in the voice of Norville Shaggy Roberts.
I'm supposed to jump to that ledge? Maybe when I was brave, but now? No way!
His high-pitched voice always seems to be in some heightened state of emotion, whether from fright or enthusiasm. There's always a slight quiver to his speech, which is constantly peppered with words like ghost and Scoob. When Kasem retired in 2009, Lillard took over the animated voice acting. He first did the voiceover in 2002 in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, and it was good enough for him to land the job to give the character a permanent voice. Number 8. Eric Cartman from South Park. Speaking of evil kids, Eric Cartman, the most sociopathic and narcissistic kid on South Park, is Satan himself. And that's saying something, on a show where Satan is actually a character. It's confusing why the show's good kids, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny, want to hang out with Cartman. The kid is just pure evil. Just Google worst things Cartman has done, and you'll be appalled, yet somehow amused, by his anti-Semitism, anti-gingerism, attempts to give his friends AIDS, and much more. With all that, his voice has to be perfect. Well, it's as the voice is performed by series co-creator Trey Parker.
How do you do it, Eric? I'm a restaurant critic, Butters. I get whatever I want.
It's high-pitched and whiny, with a razor-sharp edge, especially when he's upset. Unlike most voices, though, Cartman's is not an affectation of Parker's natural voice. Parker speaks in his normal voice, with a bit of a childlike touch, and then they use the auto-editing software Pro Tools to crank the pitch up. If you hear "Screw you guys, I'm going home" in both voices, you'd be amazed at the difference. Number 7. Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. There are many memorable voices on the Fox series Family Guy, which debuted in 1999, but none more than the matricidal evil genius baby, Stewie Griffin. The nefarious infant is voiced by series creator Seth MacFarlane, who gave him the choice to give the kid an eloquent, arrogant upper-class British accent.
Welcome to Pillow World, Bri. Let me get up and greet you.
The tragedy is that nobody on the show can hear his hilarious voice other than Brian. But as long as the world hears, we're fine with it. You might wonder where the voice came from. Well, McFarlane was inspired by British actor Rex Harrison's performance as Henry Higgins in the 1964 musical My Fair Lady, with his comedic transitions from dramatically high tones to dramatically low ones. The character is absolutely amazing with the voice, and it just makes everything better and funnier. We know you love Stewie Griffin's voice, even if you don't always agree with the show. Number 6. Bender from Futurama. Even the name of the character is funny if you're British. The best example of a funny robot is Bender Bending Rodriguez from the Fox TV series Futurama.
Coma, chameleon!
Accidentally frozen pizza delivery boy Fry wakes up 1,000 years in the future. He's taken in by his sole descendant, an elderly and adult scientist who owns a small cargo delivery service. There's just about nobody he genuinely likes in the world, aside from the 2 people on his do not kill list, maybe. Bender's purpose in life is to bend metal. But Bender's real joy comes from human vices like alcoholism and chain smoking. The voice is provided by prolific voice actor John DiMaggio. But the funny part is, he sounds nothing like a robot. But then again, who does? Number 5. Fat Albert.
Hey, that ain't no way. Bill, you shouldn't mess around like that.
Voiced by Bill Cosby himself, Fat Albert is a TV series which was based on Bill's own childhood in Philadelphia and his group of friends. A group of urban adolescents learn a series of valuable life lessons while hanging out in their Philadelphia neighborhood. Members of the group include Fat Albert, Mushmouth, Dumb Donald, and Weird Harold. Mushmouth had a weirder and equally memorable voice on the show, though. It's also voiced by Cosby, with his ooby-dooby speaking style, where he inserts "ub" between many syllables. The show was created by Bill Cosby himself, and he was also the voice actor of the main characters. Bill's known widely for one of his best sitcoms of all time, The Cosby Show. Number 4. Todd CHAVEZ from BOJACK Horseman.
You know what else would be cool? A miniature cupcake gun, so you could shoot tiny cupcakes.
Breaking Bad star Aaron Paul must have a thing for dark comedy. But again, if not him, then who? We've seen enough dark in his Pinkman character. He plays the earnest flunky Todd CHAVEZ on Netflix's animated series, BOJACK Horseman, which is probably the most depressing cartoon you'll ever see, but it's too funny to be ignored. Paul's character, despite being a punching bag to the main character BOJACK, is often a bright spot of hope and humor in the otherwise grim show. Some of the advice you get from him will remind you of your 3rd grade English school teacher, or even your mother. The character is unbelievably funny too, which makes him qualified for our list. Number 3. Rick and Morty from Rick and Morty.
Holy cow, Rick! I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter.
Full disclosure, Morty, it's not.
Rick Sanchez is one of the 2 eponymous protagonists from the Adult Swim animated television series Rick and Morty. Sanchez is a misanthropic, alcoholic scientist inspired by Emmett Doc Brown from Back to the Future. People enjoy Rick and Morty because not only is it hilarious, but it manages to maintain genuinely clever writing without pandering to the pretentious crowd. It lets audiences feel smart, but still feel human. Plenty of TV fans love Adult Swim's vulgar grandfather-grandson sci-fi duo Rick and Morty. But what they may not know is that both Rick and Morty are voiced by show creator Justin Roiland. Roiland has also appeared on Gravity Falls as time traveler Blendin Blandin. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers, so if you come across a photo or video online and want to know some more details about it, just send it on over to us. We might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Where's the grill?
Oh, I took it outside to air dry. See?
Think about SpongeBob SquarePants laughing. Are you smiling? Good, then we know you have a heart. The thing about SpongeBob is that he's a maniac, and not in the bad sense. Most of the time, he's just manically happy, and laughs that laugh. That is, until he gets manically sad, and his whole face droops, or manically scared, and he screams as his eyes bulge out. Whatever the facial expression, he never fails at making us laugh. He's a perfect blend of animation and vocal talents. The voice of SpongeBob is provided hilariously by Tom Kenny, a man of many voices. He's all over the cartoon world, from Adventure Time to the Clone Wars to various superhero shows. It's said that Kenny burst out with the iconic voice within seconds of hearing the details of SpongeBob's personality. And an interesting fact, Kenny had used the voice before, even before using it for SpongeBob. It was a one-off character on Rocko's Modern Life. Number 1. Bugs Bunny from Looney Tunes.
What's up, Doc?
Somehow, despite the fact that he thinks he's better than you, Bugs is immensely lovable. Everything from his walking style to talking, he wins at it all. But we know that "What's up, Doc?" Bugs' most famous and used line wouldn't have been what it was back in 1988 had it not been for the vocal talents of voice actor Mel Blanc. He was the one who voiced Bugs' official debut in 1940 until his death in 1988. Though 5 actors have voiced Bugs since Blanc's death, it was Jeff Bergman who took over for Blanc in 1990 and has voiced him exclusively since 2011. In a tone, of course, as close as he can get to Blanc's original. But frankly, nobody can touch that Blanc snark. That's it for our list of 10 hilarious voices behind super popular cartoons. Which one of them was your favorite? And which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.